So Raymond, tell me, what is a psychomanteum? And for that matter, what are the oracles of the dead?
In college, as a philosophy major, I had learned that the psychomanteons, or oracles of the dead, were very important in the origins of Western thought. And so in reading about these things in Herodotus and Plutarch and Homer and so on, I'd just gotten really fascinated with this as an undergraduate. But back then, nobody had any idea about how these so-called oracles of the dead worked. A lot of people thought it was just legendary because how could it be that there could be a place where you could go and go through procedures during which you would seem to see and converse with the dead? It didn't seem possible, so a lot of scholars back in the 20th century thought it had to be either fraud or else some kind of legend. Well, in 1988, I read an article in a classical journal about the rediscovery and excavation of the most famous of the oracles of the dead, the one in northwest Greece that Herodotus, for example, talks about. And in studying that archaeological report, I found that the Oracle of the Dead was a huge underground complex with corridors and dormitory rooms. People would stay down there for 29 days being prepared in complete darkness for this, what they imagined to be a trip to the other world. On the day that was assigned for them to actually see the visions, they would go in complete darkness down a long corridor and come out into a room about 50 feet long, and at the end of the room was this enormous bronze cauldron surrounded by a banister, which indicated that when people saw the visions, they were gazing into the direction of the cauldron. And as soon as I saw that, I said, voila, that had to be it, because I knew from my studies of crystal gazing that this is very common even today in the Middle East. People would take a silver bowl, for example, highly polish it, fill it up with olive oil, and in a dark room by candlelight, they see these visions. So as soon as I read that detail in the archaeological report, I knew, number one, how it worked, and number two, I knew it could be done easily.